Hey everyone, Richard here, Calvin Wazoo, bringing you another video. As you saw, it was a pretty nice day outside, although that gorgeous sun is a bit beguiling because it was minus 10 degrees Celsius, about 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's cold outside. And what you heard, if you could hear it, I had some music playing in the background, and that was this new band, or new artist, I should say, that I have discovered, well, relatively new. Anyway, it's a band called Car Seat Headrest, or I should say the artist. The platform is called Car Seat Headrest. And it's the musical project of a fellow named Will Toledo, who was born William Barnes in Leesburg, Virginia. It's kind of like, if you're familiar at all with Villagers, which is a project that's basically backed and fronted by Connor J. O'Brien. It's an indie folk, not really a group, but project from in Dublin, Ireland. And this is kind of what Car Seat Headrest is. He has some musicians who play with him and are now recording with him, and especially, you know, in live venues. But initially, Car Seat Headrest was Will Toledo, or is Will Toledo. And the name came from the fact that, you know, he would be making all the music and recording and producing the music himself, and then he would record the vocals inside his car in the back seat to, you know, have some privacy. And so that was the name, Car Seat Headrest, and it has stuck with him. It's really amazing. It gets classified as indie pop, lo-fi. It's definitely infectious pop music. But here's the thing. It's not a simple format of music. It's because it's driven by his lyrics. And there's these, you know, they're not really quite ballads, but he's telling these stories. Some of these stories are filled with despair, filled with longing and unrequited affection. And others are just silly and you know, I don't want to necessarily say happy, but, you know, they're silly and free, unencumbered by anything else. And I really have enjoyed the music. I happened upon it on a video where he was doing this like live thing, and I think it was a bookstore or maybe it was a record store. And he's got this, which I think for some people would be kind of a annoying voice, but I like it. It's a voice and singing style to me that is filled with character, and the stories again that he is telling in his songs. And on that, I started looking. I'll have links to those videos in the Down Under that I'm talking about, and that kind of sent me on a hunt for his discography to see what he had available. And he has some material that's on vinyl. So the first thing I got was this, okay, Twin Fantasy, which he released earlier, and then exactly when, I cannot remember, but he reissued it, I believe a couple of years ago. I'm going to take a look here at the, maybe if there's a very, very simple, 2018. It was reissued on Matador Records. Very simple cover. And when I was listening to this whole album, it was like, man, I wish that when I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, that there was something like this record available for me to listen to. I mean, listening, I immediately could figure out that Will Toledo is gay, at the least, maybe bi. But this whole album is about, you know, a love affair between two boys, but it isn't, I wouldn't want the subject matter to push away or turn off straight listeners, because it's not over the top, I guess, and I hate that I have to provide that kind of disclaimer, because the angst and love of between two adolescents of any sex can be fraught with blissful feelings and at the same time confusion and torment. And for gay kids growing up, it's a lot more, I'm going to say it's a lot more difficult because we don't have any role models. I didn't have any role models to really help me understand my feelings, especially in popular music. I just, didn't have that. And so this album was just so amazing to me, and the stories, I got to give it some more listens. I've only really listened to it a few times, but it is really amazing. And so then I found another one that was available in my local record store. And this is the newest one. It's called Making a Door Less Open. So this is brand new. It was released last year on Matador Records. And it was like, whoa, I put this on, and talk about, it's different. It's a different direction, that he's going, but it still has the car seat headrest sound. I definitely have to give this a lot more, but the song Hollywood is just, he really shreds the whole mentality of Hollywood, the whole veneer, the fake veneer that we get from Hollywood. He just really shreds it really well. And it's still this infectious pop music, but then I go back, he's got these stories going on. He's telling these stories in the lyrics. And, when you look at the lyric sheets, there's a lot of words in these songs. And so it's pop music, but it's not standard rhythmic structure, verse, verse, chorus, verse, verse, chorus. The style is there that's very pop, very catchy, but it's also very much on, the edge, the fringe, and it just fits with his delivery and his style of singing. The stories, all his songs are really, they're stories. And in some respects, I'm going to say he's very much like Bob Dylan, in the way Bob Dylan would tell, a story, an entire story in a song. And, it was the structure, the skeleton of the song, the melody, was there. But the primary event happening, is the lyrics, the story, and the music is there to give it a richer experience and perspective. And he does that. Will Toledo does that so exceptionally well. And with these albums, he's got a band with him now, and there's Will on the vocals and guitar and keyboards. There's Ethan Ives on guitar, backing vocals. Andrew Katz is on drums and vocals. And Seth Dalby is on bass. There's 2 other albums that are released on vinyl. He's on the Matador label that I really want to get, Teens of Style and Teens of Denial. And then I went to Bandcamp because I was watching an interview that Anthony Fantano did with Will Toledo. Anthony Fantano's the internet's most famous music nerd. And it's a great video or a great interview. And I'll have a link to that in the Down Under. And Will is doing this interview wearing this like gas mask, because that's kind of the new persona he's doing with Car Seat Headrest. And he talks a little bit about why that's going on. But it's all this chatter, is going on while the interview's happening. And then when I go to Bandcamp and I see comments, etc., in other forums about Car Seat Headrest, I keep seeing a reference to furries show up. So I don't know if Will Toledo is, in the furry community. But there certainly is a lot of very overt, blatant talk about it. I have not heard anything from Will himself about that. But certainly with the gas mask, it is curious. But anyway, he was mentioning somebody in the forum, in the Fantano interview, was asking the question about whether, would he please go back and re-release his earlier material, which is only available in digital formats. And his reply essentially was, no, I'm not going to do that. I have no interest in doing that. So that sent me to Bandcamp. And the 2 items that I downloaded, the first one was this. Of course, I just had to download it and then burned it to a CD. It's Nervous Young Man, which was released in 2013. And it's, if it were to be released on vinyl, it would be a triple record set. I mean, the opening song is, there are 2 songs that would take an entire LP side, or close to an entire LP side. And so it would be a massive vinyl release. I could see that as being, on the production side, costly and problematic. So no wonder he doesn't want to do that. But despite the fact that there's all this music on here, I mean, I've read some comments where some people say that there are some weak songs, etc. on it, but I am just really blown away at how consistent and strong the songs are in this, in this entire thing. We're talking well over 2 hours of music that is lumped into this like one album. And then the other one I got is How to Leave Town. That's another one that I just bought today and downloaded and put on CD as an MP3. And the song, there's a real short one on here. It's called Is This Dust Really from the Titanic? And it's got this very simple, repetitive guitar hook, and it's just infectious. And then he's talking over it about, the first part is, what are the good things about, having friends who are making music or like in a band? And then the second part is, what is the bad part about having friends who are making music in or like in a band or in that whole scene? So it's, I just want to say, this is some of the freshest, to me, most innovative music I have heard in a long time. And I know a lot of people, because his history goes back. I mean, How to Leave Town is from 2014. Nervous Young Man's from 2013. He was making music and releasing that digitally ever since he got out of high school. So we're talking from age, in fact, the songs on Nervous Young Man come from a period when he was from 17 years old to 21 years old. So he's been making a lot of music for a long time. And I drew the comparison with Villagers and Connor J. O'Brien's project. And, he's another artist that if you haven't heard of, you should check out because the first time I heard O'Brien and Villagers, I was, again, just blown away by, what this guy was doing. But anyway, I'll have, like I said, I'm going to have some links in the Down Under to share some of the videos that I am talking about for you to check out. I'm late to the party. Hey, I'm a 62-year-old man, and, I'm not always knowing what the kids are doing. And believe me, this stuff is just really amazing. It just is blowing my mind. And I'm sure after I give it some more listens, I'll agree with some of the comments that people have, that despite their enthusiasm, there's some weaker songs, but so far he has not, in my opinion, released any duds. There are no clunkers in what I've listened to so far. And it's infectious. It's pop music, but it's not radio pop. It's not standard pop format. I hear so many influences, ranging from a variety, from David Bowie to Arctic Monkeys to Scissor Sister. I can hear these influences coming together in his music, and he brings it in such a fresh way. And then the lyrics being these poetic stories. And like I say, I don't want to say they're ballads because they're not ballads, because musically they are not structured that way. The music is standard, I would say standard pop riffs and hooks, but again, the structure is very anachronistic. Best way to put it, I guess. So anyway, I hope you check out Car Seat Headrest in the links that I have in the Down Under. Excellent band. I hope you enjoyed this. And please remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.